You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Welcome and Happy New Year, happy 2026. Welcome to Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, FHL, Personal Development with a Business Plan. And of course, this is episode 124, Ready, Aim, 2026. It's here. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, right? It's too late. We're here, right? But this is all about thinking better, doing better, and we all want better. That's what everybody wants, right? So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click that notification button, and you'll learn when Joey and I are on. Usually we're on about the same time every week, depending on where you are in the world. So whatever time it is now for you, this is when we're normally on a Sunday. Listen, I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. Joey, welcome. Great to see you, buddy.
G'day, Mike. G'day, everyone. This is Joey Magonga here from Sydney, Australia. Just want to back up what Mike said. We do hope that you had a wonderful Christmas. This is, that Christmas is gone now. It's history now. But, we do hope that you spend some quality time with the people that really matters to you, whether your family, your loved ones, partners and kids, relatives, and all of the friends all over the world. We celebrate the new year with happy new year to each and every one of you. And I think myself, so exciting knowing that whatever happened in 2025, it's out of our control now. Whatever is past, it passed. We're only looking forward now, to the future. This is a new year now. Some people said new me, a new personality, new attitude, new goals, new discipline, new resolution. I think, we all come together tonight just to celebrate the life that we went through last year in 2025, all the winning, all the learning. One of our mentor, Eric Worre, used to say, in life, there's no bad experience or good experience, all learning experience. And I think if we have that perspective about life, we either learn something or win something in life. I know a lot of people that just dwell on the past and said, I wish I do better in 2025. We can't do much about it. This is a new year, new you. And that's all about this program and this podcast. We bring new energy, bring new spirit to our program. And we hope you enjoy it and learn as much as you can. Not only did you learn, but our wish for you that you can apply it to your life. And if you experience some winning or some achievement, pay it forward. Tell other people that you learned something out from this program and you apply it and you change your life. And that's for us. That's the greatest reward that we have in life, is someone mention our name, our little program in their story or their testimony. So, Mike, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
Now, don't forget, you can find Joey on Facebook at facebook.com/joey.unga. And of course, you can also find him. Just go there, because all of his links are there. So you can find him on his Isagenix page. You can find him on Instagram. Look, go and check him out, right? And of course, like my Facebook page is there, The Real Mick McQuillan. You're probably not going to find me there, but if you like, do go there, leave me a message, and definitely I'm happy to come back to you, because look, there's lots of things that are going on. And 2026, and Joey's absolutely right. What happened in 2025 is in the past. Now, the funny thing is that maybe you planted some seeds back then, right? And these seeds are maybe deep in your subconscious, and they're gonna come into harvest. They're gonna come into bloom if this is what you're thinking about. So now is probably a great time to plant some new seeds. So it's about getting ready. Get clear, decide what matters most this year for you, right? Set 1 or 2 big goals. No more than that. You don't need 10 goals, right? Just 1 or 2, the most important things. Because if you've got too many goals, you're not gonna have any focus. I heard something the other day. Like you can't hit 10 targets with 5 arrows, right? You want clear goals, even just one clear goal. Make it simple and break that goal down into easy steps that you can do weekly. So break it down, write it down, explain it to yourself as if you're a 13-year-old. Because if a 13-year-old can understand it, it's going to be really clear. So you want to break those goals down. And then what's the next step? To take a step. You got to take a step, right? Now this is where the challenge comes, Joey, because we can be scared, right? We can be scared to take that step. And you only gain confidence in taking the step, right? And you talk about this, you talk about failing forward, because sometimes you take some action, it doesn't work out. You talk about it not happening overnight, happening over time. You talk about your story when you go to when you first started going to the gym, you didn't see any results the next day. It was the next week, the next month, several months later, you start to see, those things taking place. So small action, consistent effort, small action every day. I often say, do something every day that's going to move you towards your goal. It doesn't need to be a massive, it doesn't need to be a massive thing. But then, Joey, what happens? You get that compounding effect that goes on, right? So, but that compounding effect also happens with nothing. You get more of nothing. And then you sit back and you wonder why nothing's changed, because you didn't change anything. So, I think it starts with how we think about things. But again, you got to write this stuff down on paper, Joey. You got to write it down. You got to take action. Right? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to show off my little card. I create a new card, My old one, I think my wife washed them in the washing machine, and finally it's worn out. So I have to write a new code card, like exactly what Mike said. Get out of our head and into a piece of paper, because by the time we act, remember what Mike said. Not only we hear, we think, but we go out there, go out of our head and join the game, into the pool, and enjoy the experience, because you won't enjoy the experience if you don't get wet. And that's what we do. I went and bought some cake from one of the shop cake for the Christmas, and I saw one of the card. At one side, it's got some address there, contact, and the other side is just blank. And I said, great, I need some of this. So I grabbed some of them, and I said to myself, this is my gold card. It's easy. I can slide this in my wallet, and I can carry around with me even when I go in the army. I can, on our downtime, I can just pull it out from my wallet and just have a look. Because it's kind of like that's how you manifest. That's how you create things. You take out from your head and you put on a piece of paper. As soon the time you write it down, for some reason it's connected. Your being is connected to your goal, and it's getting out of your head into a piece of paper, and you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. If you want something good in life, you can smell it. You write it down by the time. And what Bob said, if you tell a lie many times, it will become a reality, because you train your brain, your mind, to think and act in the way that you really, really want something in life. So you spot on.
That's a big part of it, Joey. Is the getting ready part, right? So you have to get ready. You have to know what it is that you want. You have to literally, exactly as you say, you've got to write it down. You've got to write down what it is you want. Now, me personally, I write it down every morning. So I have my journal. I write it down every morning. Yes, I've got other things I need to do, but I'm fixated on that one idea that I want to do. And then you've got to take some action. Don't need to be massive, but you've got to develop the idea. You've almost got to build it, and create it, and start talking about it, and start sharing it. And that's the beauty, of us as human beings. We can create, what we think about. We can, like if you're thinking about starting a business, but you're not sure what kind of business to get into, well, maybe you want to go and speak to some people who are in business, find out what they do, find out how they did it. Like I speak to a lot of people, and they don't. Sometimes, Joey, they don't know what they want. They don't even know what they like or what they're passionate about. It's the same things every time. Oh yeah, travel. Or right, okay. Well, why don't you start a travel business, right? If that's what you're interested in, if that's what you're excited about, like a lot of people just don't know what they want. So I would encourage anybody to just take a moment to sit down, and write down one thing that you really enjoy doing, one thing that you love doing, one thing, and it might be, oh my God, I just love my dog. I love going out with my dog. I love going to take my dog for a walk, because I just feel that's when I feel most at peace, when I'm out walking my dog. Well, how can you use that? How can you take that and create service with that? How can you take that and make a difference in somebody else's life? Like what can you do? Because it does come down to service, Joey. Everything comes down to service at the end, making a difference in somebody else's life, So I know we're talking about, make the action simple for sure, right? But you can have a big idea. You can have a big dream. You can have a big goal to aim for, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're aiming for something. So you have to get ready. You have to decide what it is that you want. And if you're not sure what you want, speak to a coach, get a mentor, find someone who has what they want, and ask them what they did, ask them how they got started, like ring up Joey and say, geez, Joey, how did you get to where you are? What is it that you did? Like me, like Joey, we're not superheroes or anything else like that. We put our trousers on the same way as everybody else does. Do you know what I mean? I don't fly out of bed in the morning into my clothes, So, when we started our business, Joe, I'll be honest with you, this is a true story, right? This is a true story. So it's back in 2009. I was working for Dale Carnegie, right? World's largest training and coaching company at that time. And, there was a big recession just about to hit. And in fact, to be honest, the recession hit in 2008, right? That was when it really came out, 2008, September 2008. And by March 2009, my boss comes to me and he says, Mick, look, we really love working with you. He says, but, we just can't afford to pay you anymore. But do you want to carry on still working for us? And I'm thinking, this just ain't going to work out, right? Mm-hmm. So I decided to leave, and I set up my own training and coaching company, charging about 250 quid an hour for coaching. Sounds amazing, but when you're only doing 1 hour a month, it ain't that great, right? So, and then it was around about June or July. Kate was talking to, about June or July, Kate was talking to a friend of hers in Wales, in England, in the UK. And she says, she's looking after someone's cat and getting paid for it. And Kate was like, oh my God, this is an amazing idea. She came off the phone. She's like, oh, this is an amazing idea. We should do that. And I'm like, what? Why would I want to do anything like that? That's crazy. I don't want to do something like that. I wasn't saying this to Kate. I was saying it in my head. My ego was there. Like I'd been working for Dale Carnegie. I was like, at the height of construction previous to that, So, like I'm a personal and business coach. I'm charging 250 quid an hour. Why would I want to look after someone's cat? This is crazy. This is the craziest thing to me. So I thought, I've got to get out of this. Why does Kate want to do this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do this. This is just bananas. And so I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna get out of this, but I let her down gently, right? This is my thinking, Joe. So Kate's background at that time was data analysis and customer research. So I said, well, why don't you prove that there's a market there for it? And Kate's like, all right, okay then. And so she goes off. She speaks to, different universities, Central Statistics Office, starts to understand pet ownership in Ireland. And at that time, it was about 60% of homes had one or more pets, right? So it was about, I can't remember how many homes, was it about 2 million, 2.5 million homes or something like that. And I thought, right, okay, well, that's a lot of homes, And then she does a nationwide survey, asking pet owners, what type and how many pets do you have? How often do you travel away? What do you do with your pets when you go away? All of these different questions. How much, have you ever heard of a service like this? How likely would be to use a service like this, on a scale of 1 to 10 and all this kind of stuff. And she gets all this data, collects it all, and then she gives it to me. And she said, oh, well, about 60% of homes have one or more pets. About 60% of those homes rate, likely to use a service like this. That was about 800,000 homes, right? And I'm thinking, oh shit, there's definitely a business in this, Yeah. And we got started, right? And we did. We got started in November 2009, and by March 30th, by March 1st, we officially launched. By June that year, we'd gone nationwide, right? And now, don't get me wrong, that's 60% of pet owners that rated likely to use a service like this. Turns out that they're not actually our customer. There's a different group of people, and it's a smaller group of people. It's about 10%, right? 10% of pet owners rated highly likely to use a service like this. Now, the difference between those two groups is one makes a decision based on price, and the other makes a decision based on need. And, I focused, we were working in that larger pool to begin with, where you get a lot of rejection, you get a lot of haggling, all this kind of stuff. And, we made the decision that we weren't going to fish in this pool. We were going to fish in this smaller pool up here. And it was the best decision that we ever made, because those customers, they're buying, I always say, look, we don't sell pet sitting services. We sell feelings. Our ultimate aim is to help someone feel better about something that makes them feel bad with their pet, whether it be asking a friend or family member, using kennels or catteries, or asking the neighbor, asking your mother again, whatever it is. So, we're trying to empower that person to feel better. And that's really what we do. And that's the service that we offer for our customers. And today, from a position of never wanting to do this with my ego being in the way. Our company now today is, Ireland's largest, most recommended, most trusted, delivered well over 500,000 pet care services, from a position where a lot of people said no one would ever use a service like this, to today being probably Europe's largest independently owned, in the industry. So, that's from an idea that my wife had that I didn't want to do, but yet we built it into this amazing thing, because of how we look at that, how we looked at what we were trying to do for people. It wasn't about, selling services. It was about selling a solution, selling a solution for somebody. And that's what our businesses are all about, Joey. Your business is exactly the same. It's about giving someone a solution, but that person has to have a need. They have to have a want. They have to have a goal. They have to have a desire, for a change to happen in their life, So, look, if you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, I want to do something, well, reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a discussion. Get in touch with Joey. Get in touch with me. Let's have a conversation on what you can do differently, how you can serve your community, how you can serve a wider audience and make an impact or a difference in their life, helping them feel better about something that makes them feel bad. Because, we all have feelings. We do. And we suppress them, and we put on this persona every day. We put on this persona and we go out and we pretend in the world. We're acting. Bob says it in that video in the beginning, which we're going to watch at the end of the game. Act, walk, talk like you're already there. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you need to do differently? Why can't you be yourself? Why can't that authentic version of you be you? And, it's not about being vulnerable. It's about sharing. It's about sharing what you have to make a difference in somebody else. Even just kindness, Like, can you turn kindness into a business? Absolutely, you can, through service, through doing something. That cake shop that you go to, Joey, that was an idea for somebody. It was just an idea, and they turned that idea into reality. Like, if you're sitting at home now and you love baking and you love making cakes, and then when people eat those cakes, you see how happy it makes them. That's what you're selling. That's what your cake is. It's not cake. It's that feeling that they get. If you make birthday cakes, and when it's presented at a birthday party and it makes everybody so happy and they love the taste of it and everything else, that's what you're selling. That's what you're doing. That's the difference that you're making. And we all have something in us. We all have that. We're all looking for our purpose, Joey. Right? We're all looking for our purpose, but our purpose is what we've already done in the past. It's what we're going to do in the future. Our purpose is already here. But for a lot of people, maybe 96% of the global population, maybe certainly in the Western type world, our purpose is in someone else's dream. It's in someone else's goal. Now, don't get me wrong, and Jim Rohn says it. You can make a living working for somebody else, and a good living. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you can make a fortune working for yourself or doing something for yourself, and look at the impact and the difference that you can make for someone. So I would encourage anybody, to get ready, get clear on what it is that you want to do. Like, I wasn't clear, but when someone presented the evidence to me, because I was trying to trick somebody into not doing something, it just showed, and now look, so I had to change. I had to change my attitude. Once I got all the relevant information, once I got clear on what it is that I thought that we could do. And I did, Joe. I remember I sat down when I had all the numbers. I sat down, I broke it all down. I got a spreadsheet, and I really made it clear as to what we're going to do. Yeah. Did it turn out that way? No, it turned out completely different. But by just pre-COVID, we had close to 400 people working in our organization. We'd set up several franchises. We had just won at the Irish Franchise Awards. Right? How does that happen from an idea? Just an idea that we were told was never going to work. No one would ever use it. And that's just then my stubbornness kicks in. Right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Don't tell me I can't do it. I'm going to show you. And that's what we did. So you get clear. You got to get ready. You got to get clear on what it is you want. 2026 is going to go by in a blink of an eye. right? There's so much that we can do. Even if we de-chunk 2026 down into, 30-day goals, 90-day goals, 180-day goals, just think what could happen, the difference you could make.
Absolutely.
Got to get ready, got to get clear, right?
Yeah.
Decide what matters most this year. 1 or 2 goals, 1 or 2 things. Focus on it. Just like Joey says, just focus on what it is you want. And to be honest, something that you said last year, Joey, which is going to stick with me forever. Intentionally act on the thing you want.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Before all those personal growth and development, I grew up in a world of faith, and go to church is one of the routine every weekend, especially Sunday. Never miss a beat. And I was involved in Sunday school, youth, and contribute to the church in a lot of ways. Youth leaders, lay preaching, being a reps for the church in the vast congregation meeting. So and when I start to learn about myself, I realize, man, I am a spiritual being living in a physical body, and for some reason we are connected to the bigger things. And like you said, I take a lot of note when you share. You mentioned it, our purpose is already here. A lot of people go looking for their purpose, but that we already have our purpose. Since day one we brought into this world through our parents and our environment that we grow up. There must be a reason why we brought into this world. And one of the things that you touch on it, and it's so clear, you and I, one of our main goal in life to make a positive impact in people's life, whether give them a good feelings about the product that we sell or share, or the service that we provide. And when you share your experience from your story, I can imagine having the people that they have their own pets and they want your service, and you provide them the best service they can have in Ireland, in your area. Man, I feel the energy. I feel, because I realize in my journey now, success is a feeling, and that's why we wake up every day and do what we love to do, because not only we provide, we earn a living by earning income by whether we work for someone else or we build our own business, but then we realize that we are connected to the feeling that we achieve from providing that service, or providing a solution for someone else. And that's why I realize, intentionally, your being has to be connected to what you really want in life. Because if you don't connect it, you will wandering like a ship without a rudder. You will end up shipwrecked in some way, and it's happened a lot. It's happened, whatever happened to you, if you listen to this, it's happened to all of us. Yeah. And my mentor told me, Joey, you might be thinking I'm already success in our professional, in our business, in our company, but bear in mind, it didn't happen to me overnight. I was like you. I was frustrating sometimes. I have a lot of more no's than one yes, or a lot of no's and no yes.
And that's the same in any business, Joey. And no disrespect to anybody who's not in business, but it's the same in any walk of life. If you're single and you're trying to get a date, you might get a lot of no's before you get a yes, right? Like if you're trying to get a job, for example, and you're making applications here, there, and everywhere, you might get a lot of no's before you get a yes. If you're working in network marketing and you're trying to set up partnerships with people, you might get a lot of no's before you get a yes. Absolutely. Like in my business, we send out a lot of quotes, we get a lot of no's, and then we get a yes. It's the same in everything, Joey. And then people turn around and say, I don't like sales. It's not sales. It's just everyday life. It's everyday life. But the challenge is, Joe, that we step away from that rejection. We step away from it. We don't want the no's. So we don't put ourselves out there. We don't go fishing because we're afraid to get a no, right? I was thinking about this week actually, and I was just thinking about people and and life in general, and I was thinking about when I worked in construction, and I love construction, I really do, and I remember a guy telling me, he said, your job is to make your boss look good, right? And this is true. And I, like if you're watching this or you're watching the replay and you're sitting on the fence about not knowing what to do, but yeah, you've got a job and you don't really like your job, but you just keep turning up every day and you keep doing it, I would encourage you to go back to work this month with the intention to make your boss look good. Make your boss look good, because his boss will see you doing that and you will get the promotion, because they'll see that you are, because his boss is looking at the bigger picture, and they'll be able to see the way that you're applying yourself, the way that you're making everybody look better. And they're going to say, do you know what? This guy, he's got something. This girl, she's got something. This person, they've got something. We need to develop that. So if your only aim this year, or if you're looking for a promotion, you're trying to, even just in your own job, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, even in your own relationship, try and make your partner look good. I guarantee that it's going to make them feel better, it's going to make you feel better, and everything's going to get a little bit better. But if you're in a job and you're looking for another job, focus now on making your boss look better. I swear to God, and you'll get a better job. Even if it's within the organization or in a new organization, because someone's going to see the value in you.
Absolutely,
value what you do.
Absolutely, and you touch on the thing that opened up one of a great piece of audio that we can share with our community. Everyone can, in the world of social media, especially YouTube, it's the strangest secret.
Yeah.
Earl Nightingale talk about that. If you decided in what you really want in life and just start to intentionally show up every day and be the best person that already achieved and got what you really want in life, the world will look at you in a different way. And I think in my journey, that's when my breakthrough is. I just show up. I said to myself, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be a successful person in this profession, in this company. So I just show up. At first, I didn't know what I do. I just have the courage and decided that what I do is intentionally to make an impact. First for my health, for my well-being, for my financial, for my family future. And I just did it and intentionally. And because I realized what I have is a great gift, and the vehicle that we have is a great gift. And if we share that with other people and they are open-minded to take a look and try it out, or want to be part of the journey, man, we've seen a lot of stories. We've seen a lot of people. They just, ordinary people, carpenter, people who was in the construction industry, and they turn into a professional network marketer, or build their own business, and things just change. The whole world just changed to them. A lot of opportunity open up. They travel places they never been. And I think when I reflect on my journey in 2025, that's when I realized, when I start intentionally do what I do, no matter what people perspective or point of view of me, I just keep showing up and just keep doing what I do, because the world will see the change. The world will see my commitment, and the world will see my consistent. And that's why they said, if Joey have that feeling of success, maybe if we open up, we can experience the same thing. And that's why, things start to move. They said the needles start to move. The odometer of the car start to accelerate. And because I make a committed decision, and I went with intentionally that whatever I do, I will make an impact in this world. And I started with my family. I started with the people I love. Work on my health now. My wife is doing the same thing. My kids are very responsible with for their health, especially workout and doing physical things that improve the quality of their. And I had a meeting with my children today, and I said to my daughter, one of the things I'm very proud of you just show up, you work on your health. Back in my day, I wait until someone told me go and outside and play. For you just come home after work, get changed, get in your car, go back to the gym and work 1 hour on your health, and you come back. And when you come back, I can see you feel good. We talk about the feeling. When you do work or work intentionally in the goal that you really want in life, you will have the experience. You will have the feeling of success that you're talking about. It might be a small one, but imagine have that feeling over time. It will compound, and when it compound, you're able to spread that to other people too. People will look up to you. People will show up in your life and say, "Hey, Mike, I love your energy. I like what you say. I want to be part of your organization." And that's why, when we do intentionally, for ourselves, for other people, things change in life, and people are watching.
You see, Joey, I've got this phrase on the screen: not for yourself, but not by yourself, right? And we use that phrase a lot, certainly when we're talking about business. Because you can't build a business by yourself. You need people, right? But also when you're talking about your family, Dad, you're doing things for yourself, right? You're getting yourself in shape. You're trying to, and we're not just talking about physical shape, we're talking financial shape, right? And then you have, your immediate family, and they see your action. They see you doing this for yourself. And then they choose that they want to do it with you because of your leadership, because of how you're leading, and that unit becomes stronger. You become stronger, because you're being fed by them, by watching them and by seeing their results. And, they're being fed by you because they're now pushing you, so what started out by yourself, is not by yourself. It's part of a bigger thing, right? And your action can create leadership, and maybe you don't want to be a leader, but Joey, you didn't start off as a leader. I didn't start off as a leader. I started off as a learner, trying to figure it out along the way, screwing up, accepting, ownership of those mistakes, and then deciding to change them, to fix them, to be better, to become better, right? And, but I had to go and look for mentorship. I had to go and look for leadership. And then I grew and I got better. And then people started turning to me for advice. And people ring me and say, how do I get started? How can I do this? Like I had a 2-hour call with somebody yesterday, just in getting them set up and getting them, up and running, getting websites sorted out, back ends and different things like this, but I didn't know how to do that before. I had to learn. And now hopefully I'm going to teach this other person to be able to learn it so that they can teach someone else, because that's what it's about. It's not about, it's not about me. It's about who I can be and who I can help and how I can make an impact on their life and how they can impact their community and their wider audience. And this is what it's about, and that makes me feel good. Like there's so much cynicism out there and so much pain out there. And so, like, oh my God, I listen to some of the things that I listen to, Joe, especially on TikTok, and I think to myself, there's a reason why I don't watch this news. There's a reason why I don't watch. This is the reason why I'm in my own little bubble, a little bubble of positivity and love and life and sharing and gratitude and all this kind of stuff. It's because I get that back in return. It comes back to me that way. Like if I circulate hate and division, what's going to come back to me? Whereas if I circulate love and thanks and gratitude, what comes back to me? I don't get hateful messages back. I get messages of love and thanks back. Yeah, occasionally someone wants to hate me. Well, I'm going to kill them with kindness. I love you. Thank you for that. You're only making me better. I appreciate it. So, I'm excited for 2026, Joey. I've got, look, I'm clear on what it is I want. Are you clear on what you want? If you're watching on the replay, get clear on what it is you want. Just get clear. I don't care. I don't care if if you're thinking, well, what will other people think? What do they think right now? They probably don't think anything. They're too busy worrying about their own stuff. You get clear on what you want. And the people that you need in your life are going to come into your life to give you the help and support that you need. This, what do you say if you're going to change some things in your life? You've got to change some things in your life. Like Drew, you can go through your story. I know your story off by heart, right? Yeah. I love it. And I only have to go to your Facebook page, go to your photos, see your humble beginnings, right? And then as I scroll up, I see all of these different achievements, of you being in the army, and not just being in the army, not just joining the army. Joining the army was the first step. Joining the boot camp was the first step. Gaining confidence as you went through it, realizing that you could do it and you could be that person, you could be that soldier, you could be that engineer, you could do all these things, to then being in a position where you're on the front cover of magazines for the army, right? How does that happen? That happens from being in here first, from committing, making a committed decision. If anybody wants to know or talk to someone about making a committed decision, the guy's right here. His name is Joey Unger. Just come and talk to Joey about making a committed decision, right? But go and have a look at his Facebook page. Go and have a look and just look at the photos. You'll see different aspects of Joey's life. You'll see him standing in a business suit, buying properties, things like this. Didn't happen overnight, happened over time, but it started with a clear, aim, a clear, knowing what he wanted to do, and then taking not massive steps, small, consistent steps. Even joining the army, you don't just join the army, you have to fill out an application form, right? That's just one step. And that was a big step. It's a big step, but it's just a tiny little step at the same time, but it led to something else. When Joey wants to buy properties and he doesn't know how to do it, he has to go and learn about it. He has to seek mentorship. You have to do all these things, get advice, take advice. You have to be open. Like if you think you already know everything, to be honest, well then good for you, right? I'll chuck away Google and you can come and live with me, right? And because you know everything already, right? I don't need to know anything. So look, I'm excited, Joey. I'm just excited for 2026 because when you understand what it is that you want and you can aim, you can keep it simple. You're not talking about huge steps. It's doing a little thing every day. It's going to move you towards your goal, move you towards that. Keep you on track, keep you focused, keep your aim, and keep you moving. But you have to do it every day. It's creating these daily rituals. You have these daily rituals, Joey. That you probably do when you get up in the morning. Certain things that you do, maybe you've got like an hour of power or something that you have in the morning where you're kind of listening to something. Maybe you're working out, you're going to the gym, maybe, 3 or 4 times a week or whatever it is you're doing. So your diet, whether it's protein shakes or, protein bars or whatever it is, do you know what I mean? All makes a difference, not overnight, over time, So talk to me, Joey. What's the plan?
I think one of the words that I take away from what you just, the amount of wisdom that you just said, and I said this to you many times. I'm not said this because of the recording. I said it as a friend and a business partner and a great friend and friendship that we have developed a few years ago, and now we currently do it like weekly. I think I spend more time with you than my wife. No, Mike is the word that you mentioned is ownership, and it remind me what I think Jim Rohn said. Ownership is a sign of maturity, and a lot of people in our age, they haven't been matures because this is what their body language, their language is. oh, I'm not good at this. It's my wife's fault. It's my kids' fault. They never take ownership. And I think for me, I'm glad that you said that with us tonight, because I think if you can take away one thing from our conversation, there's a lot of nugget that you can learn from this. But for me, in my opinion, if you can take one word from me in my sharing tonight, is take ownership. 2026 is the year of take ownership, because like when I first start, a lot of people kicking and regretting, scratching their head, regretting because they didn't do the things from last year. There's a lot of things they need to accomplish, but they didn't do it. But remember, what happened to you was happened to everyone, including myself and Mike. But what we do about what happened to us last year, and take ownership. If you fuck it up, excuse my language, own it. If you were shit at doing something that you're gonna be improving, own it. Don't point the finger. And I met a lot of people in my journey. Even some of the clients I talked to, they said, if only my wife or my boyfriend or my girlfriend are seeing this or doing this. For me, you have to take ownership. Take ownership of your life, of your health, your financial, your future, your lifestyle. Now, I put up a post because I travel 3 hours to a beautiful place in Australia, down south of Sydney. The sand was it's one of the widest sand in the world, because we walk on the sand, it's all squeezy, and because it's very fine, it's so white, and I love the place, and my wife said to me, are you giving me a hint for taking me to this place? And I said, you never know. We keep like we said, like we said in our profession, we keep our option open. You never know, But I love the place because I connected. I intentionally do it, and a lot of people say, you're crazy driving 3 hours to go for a swim. But I did it intentionally because this is the lifestyle I want. This is where the view I want to wake up every morning and look. And, I love the breeze, the air that coming from the ocean, touching my skin and make me feel like I own the world, But, take ownership. And I think you experience the same thing. You met a lot of clients, a lot of people. They want to change something in their life, but they never take ownership. Own it. Like if they make mistake, own it. Just do it messy, own it. And I think that's why we improve a lot in our journey, because we do it messy. Sometimes we slip a word, and we swear and something like that. Even though we don't like to encourage people to swear a lot, but because it's come from intentionally, because this is our passion. We want people to change. We want people to make a positive impact in their physical health, financial health, lifestyle. And I love your podcast because it's a freedom, health, and lifestyle. Because you can have whatever you want in life if you really want it. Be clear of what you really want in life and just get out there. Like Mike said, get out there and do it messy. Like start something. Go and ask questions. Seek someone already achieve what you want, and just go and ask him, can I take you for lunch? And if he say to you, it's going to cost you a lot, then say, there's a lot of way, ask someone to do their shopping for them. So you can ask questions about them. Even though, I say that, but my main point is, for the starting of this year, a lot of people have come with a resolution. I want to change this. And what I learned, in 12 days, or maybe less than 2 weeks, those resolutions out of the door. And I seen that in the gym. I seen that a lot of people, they decided to do something in life, and they started, and they and they kind of like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I have been trying to do this resolution many times, but what happened? Life get in the way. The weeds start to get in, because you never clear of what you really want in your life. You're never clear of what you want to achieve, and because you don't take ownership when you stuff up, and you blame your wife, you blame the people around you, that you blame your environment, you blame the season. Like at Mike, it's cold over there. He put the beanie, show up.
Yeah,
You know,
bloody freezing.
in
Minus
here,
4 here. Minus
Yeah.
4.
yeah, I enjoy my summer here because whatever happened to me, it was happened to Mike. At one stage, he was only one layer. I was puffing up with checklist. We're still showing up. We still own it. We still, because we make the decision. Hey, we're gonna make an impact in people's life, and and we start. Now we are 120.
4.
24. So we're kicking goals, we're kicking milestone, because we make that committed decision that we're gonna save the world, utilizing the social media, and because we want to make an impact in other people's lives. So Mike, thank you for sharing that. You have no idea how much I learned from you, and I take note, and every time I look back and what you said, I have no surprise that you work for one of those organizations that they promote and add solution to people's life through Dale Carnegie platform and resources. And so,
Did I ever tell you the story about how I ended up working for them?
I think you did, but I would like you to refresh my mind and share.
Did I tell you about my interview?
I think I did. Did you remember something like that?
I'll tell you quickly, or just for the audience, anyone listening, and then we're going to get your final thoughts.
Yeah.
And so it was the second of it was the 3rd of September. Can't remember the year, right? But must have been 2005, something like that. And the 3rd of September, I get a phone call out of the blue. So I'd left construction at this stage. I started my own company in coaching and training. I joined a network marketing company. I was doing really, really well, Joe. We were making a lot of money. I was working with about 40 different clients every month. And we were winning awards and we were doing things. And then out of the blue, I get a phone call from Dale Carnegie saying, "Hey, listen, we'd love you to come and work for us. Can you come in for an interview tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, no problem." Put the phone down. I'm like, "Bloody hell, it's Kate's birthday tomorrow." And I thought, damn, I shouldn't have done it on Kate's birthday. And I spoke to Kate. She said, no, just go. It's going to be perfect. And we decided we'll go out and celebrate today. So we went out drinking, drinking lots of wine and beer and everything else. My interview was at 10 o'clock on the next morning. And, but I thought, do you know what? This is going to be amazing. Dale Carnegie, I've made it. That's everything, because it's what you want, it's, where you're serving people, you're making a difference with people, you're coaching, you're building people up. So I wake up the next morning and it's like 9 o'clock. I'm like, damn, bloody hell. I'm like, my interview's at 10 and I'm at least, and I'm not even ready, right? I'm stinking of alcohol. I jump up, I get my shirt on, put my suit on, get in the car, and I'm driving to Dublin. And I ring the guy. I've got the guy's number. I ring him up and I say, "Hey, listen, is there any chance that we can rearrange for later today? Because, look, I'm not going to get there for 10. He's like, no, we're not rearranging. He said, just get here. He said, "What time will you be here?" I said, "I'll be there at 20 past 10. He's like, right. And I put the phone down and I was never going to be there for 20 past 10. Never. Like, I'm still I'm like hours away, right? So I'm driving, I'm doing the best I can to get there. It gets to 20 past 10, it gets to about 15:15, and I ring him and say, "Hey, listen, look, I'm never going to get there for 20 past 10. Is there any chance that we could just rearrange and I could come a little bit later?" And he's like, no, I'm not rearranging. Get here. What time do you think you'll be there? I said, "Look, I'll be at least another 20 minutes. So he's like, "Right, okay, just get here." So it's about 25 to 11, and I'm thinking, fucking, I'm never going to get there. So I ring him up and I say, "Hey, listen, I'm so sorry, I'm late." He said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm on the Keys." He said, "Right, you're about 15 minutes away, 10-15 minutes. He said, "Just get here." So I get there at 10 to 11, right? And I walk in, and this guy, he's like a fucking bumblebee, Joey. He's like a bulldog. He's like really mad. I can see he's mad. So he says, "Come and sit down." So I sit down with him. He's like, right? Talk to me, tell me. And he starts asking me these questions, and I'm like, great question. He gets really mad at me. He says, Mick, he says, you just answer the questions. Let me ask the questions, and you just answer the bloody questions. I'm like, yeah, of course. So sorry. And then after a few minutes, he looks at his watch, right? He looks over my shoulder. He's like, looks over my shoulder. He said, look, my 11 o'clock here. He says, we'll have to wind it up. He said, thanks for coming in. He says, before you go, he says, are there any questions you want to ask me? I said, yeah. I said, is there anything I can do today, right now, to guarantee me this opportunity? He just burst out laughing, right? He starts laughing. He's laughing out loud, right? Yes. Rolling back in his chair, laughing. And then after what seemed like a minute, he just looks at me and says, yeah, if you go away and get me 10 new customers, that'll do it. And I shook his hand and off I went. And then I passed the other guy coming in. And then around 1 o'clock, I get a phone call saying, thanks, but no thanks. Appreciate you coming in, but we're going in a different direction. I thought, I thought, God, I screwed that up. Do you know what I mean? I screwed it up, got there late. And, and I was licking my wounds, Joey. I was sitting there for about just being mad at myself, right? Mm-hmm. And then I decided, no, I'm not having that, not accepting it. And I went down to the newsagents, to the shop, bought the Fortune 500 magazine, and I started at number 1, ringing all the top companies in Ireland. Hey, my name's Mike. I'm calling from Dale Carnegie. We're the world's largest training and coaching organization. Can I speak to your training manager? Speak to the training manager. Hi, I'm Mike from Dale Carnegie. We're the world's largest training organization. Can we help you, do this X, Y, and Z with your, foreign employees? And about 10 of the top 15 companies in Ireland agreed to meet with me under the guise of Dale Carnegie. So the next morning, I ring up the man who I had the interview with and said, hey, Mick McQuillan here. You might not remember. And he's like, I'm like, hey, Mick McQuillan. He's like, oh, hey, how you doing? He's really chirpy. And I said, oh, you might not remember me. I was the guy that was 50 minutes late for our meeting yesterday. And immediately you could hear him going on the phone going, oh, for fuck's sake, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I think he thought I was going to beg. And I said, you might not remember me, but yesterday, you said that if I was to get you 10 new customers, that would guarantee me this opportunity. He says, what have you done? So I told him what I did. I said, where do you want me to send the list? He said, I'll call you back in an hour. So, and on the dot, he rings me back exactly 1 hour later. He says, right, I want you on a plane to Amsterdam tomorrow to start working for us. And wow. I said, amazing. Can I bring my wife? He's like, bloody hell, Mick. And then he's like, yeah, you can bring your wife. So Kate and I were on a plane to Amsterdam the next day, and I went and started working for Dale Carnegie. And that's how I got started with them. And, when people say to me that first impressions, are important, I agree they are. But action is more important. I screwed that up big time, Joey. I screwed it up, and I could have just went away. And that could have been his impression of me. He could have still had that impression of me, right? Yeah. But then I did something. I took an action, and it was intentional. It was deliberate because I knew what I wanted. So I don't care how big you can screw things up. And I say this, when people screw things up, do you know what I think? I think I've fucked up bigger jobs than that, Joey. That's what I think. Because I screwed that up big time. But how did I get it back? Because I did the right thing. I took action. And I asked him, is there anything I can do right now today to guarantee me this opportunity? He told me what to do. And then I went and did it. So actions speak louder than words, because my words were crap. My display in getting there was crap. But what I did afterwards completely made up for it. Completely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, that's why I just believe that you can do anything. You can take action and you can do anything. But Joey, what I want to hear from you is I want to hear your final thoughts, on getting clear, taking aim, keeping it simple, and take the first step. Doesn't have to be giant steps. Just, like you didn't get to where you are, by taking a massive leap, you took steps, So I want to hear from you, Joey. I want to hear your final thoughts, on Ready Aim 2026. It's fucking here. There's nothing you can do anything about it. It's here, right? What are we going to do about it?
Yeah. I think you already wrap up our program in our final thought, because I resonate with what you just said. If you can allow me and our audience to allow me to share my story, very similar to what you did. When I applied for the Australian Army, out of the blue, this is the first one they did this. They want those people that they apply at that time to they only need a few names, maybe 20 people. They want them to defense pay a ticket for them to be on a plane and travel from Sydney, where I live, to another area called Melbourne, where there's a big display of military, weapon and tank, and so showcase their what our capability is, and they need new people who apply for Australian Army to get there. What resonates with your story is you didn't satisfy, with what the world opinion about you. You late. Definitely you late, and you can't do about much about it. You show up. You show up messy, and you didn't dwell on it, but because of your character, your attitude about life and the opportunity they put to you, that's so how this opportunity really mean to me. And it's funny because it resonates with my journey too. Out of the blue, I got a text message, and I didn't realize. So when I apply, the defense recruiting organization, they have your contact, and every now and then they follow up you the update. And while I was applying, I was on a waiting list to be sitting on a test, to an interview, and other stuff that require. There was a text message that sent to each and every one of those applications that they need people. First come, first serve. Whoever respond, 20 people, they will put them on a flight, pay for their flight, go there and come back, feed them, even the transport, they have to take them. It was a kind of promotion that I just did on that year, and I think I was one of the first time that people they do that. So I got the message very late, and I remember I was still at work, and I rang the recruiting people, and they told me, "Sorry, Unga, that's my last name, but it's already been booked. It's first come, first serve, and that plane is going to fly tomorrow, and you have no chance." So I did exactly what you just said. I said to them, "Is there anything that I can do to be on that plane?" And I was amazed, and I smiled to myself, because for some reason what you just said, it resonated with my story. Because guess what happened? They told me there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. When we take the intake, people are already locked in, and they're gonna fly. Their ticket is already been issued. It's gonna fly. I should check my phone and my message. But in my mind, I already seen myself on that plane, on that show, because I want to be there. I want to prove that I have the quality, have the attitude to be Australian soldier. So I said to the guy, I rang them up again. I said, "Look, this is what I wish to ask you. And it's up to you if you reject me or not. But I want you to know that I really, really want to be on that plane to where we're supposed to go tomorrow." And that lady said to me, what do you really want? I said, "Put my name on standby, because if someone last minute pull out, I'll be ready." And that person was, buy into my story, or my sell, what I sell. I was selling myself. And it can relate it to us, Jenny. A lot of people, they buy for other people's opinion, but what is you intentionally really want in life and really want to achieve, you go after it. You take action, what Mike did. And that's what I did. I said, "Put my name down on a standby. If someone miss out or cancel, please, I'm here, I'm ready. I'm pack my bag tonight." And this guy said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going home to pack my bag." So I'm driving on the way. In my mind, I already visualize myself sitting on the plane, talking to other applicants, and go there and enjoy the military parade or whatever, and then come back. And guess what happened? When I got home, I got a message, and someone ring me. He said, "Joe, Unga, do you want to be going tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, because I knew I already been there and be on that trip. And he said to me, guess what? I'm sending you an email. That's your ticket for tomorrow. And, you get in. You deserve it because you persist, you perseverance. And I think what he understand, and what this is what I understand. I have a clear goal on my mind that I need to be on that plane. I need to be on that show because I will need to show up. I need to prove myself that this is what the Australian Army need in their applicants. So come back to our show tonight. Very grateful, 124, and to kick off our program with get clear on your goal. It's so simple, but whatever is simple in life, it can be hard in life, because whatever people think is simple, it's also simple for them not to do it. And I saw my goal card, something that you can copy. Find a business card somewhere that have a blank site, write down your goal. It might sound silly, it might be, people will make fun of you, but trust me, we have mentor like Bob Proctor. People found his goal card and said, oh, Bob want to be a millionaire. Down on the track, those people still work to someone else, and Bob built his empire and his coaching program, and he achieved what he wrote down on his goal. So get clear. And I think tonight Mike touched on take ownership of your life. That's so how mature you are. And like I share, we both experienced, we met a lot of clients, we met a lot of people, they never mature in life because they never take ownership of their goals, or their ambition, or what they want to achieve in life. And what happened? Because they don't have a clear goals, they don't want to take ownership of their mistake or their failure, or the challenge they face. They just love to be comfortable. They just love to be blaming other people when things are not going their way. But Mike's story and my story can inspire you, because we went through the same phase. We went through the time that there's more no than one yes. And guess what? That one yes, help us to move forward in our journey, in our professional, in our business. And that one yes come with opportunity, with a key to open a new door for us. And when we stay open-minded, stay grounded, stay focused, and take ownership of our action, our thoughts, our feeling, things start to change in our life. And me and Mike can talk all night about how our journey was, the up and down, the win and losses, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually. But tonight we celebrate 2026 by sharing you with our story, because we are not trying to impress you, but we are telling you and sharing, graces fully with you, so that it has impressed upon you. And Mike, my dad used to say to all of us 11 siblings, and I'm not sure whether everyone pay attention, but that's one of the great lessons that my dad said to me. Whatever you do in life, stay humble, and be grateful, and just be who you are. Get clear on what you really want in life, and just go after it. Because at the end of the day, we all here with a purpose. And I love how you simplify or enlighten us tonight, that whatever purpose you want to achieve in life, it's already here. It's already in front of you. You just need to get out of your head, into your soul and your heart, and take action. Keep moving forward, like Mike did. Mike never satisfied with what the other people, the person who interviewed him. He never satisfied. He knew he's already got the job. And Bob said in our video that we're going to watch, if you have it in your mind, you already have it in your head. And that's why we go out and take action. Mike go and call 10 people and get the list and prove to the people, I'm worthy, I'm capable, I'm deserving this opportunity. And that's what happened to me. I was on the plane because I knew those people. We are the asset. Myself, Mike, to the company he applied, myself to the army. I am the asset. And when you realize that, take ownership. No one will take it out from you, that gift, that purpose. And when you realize that you're the greatest asset that you have in your life, it's you. People need people like yourself. People need to be hang around by you. People need to absorb your energy. People need to learn from your wisdom, because our purpose in life is to make a positive impact in life, in other people's life. And our professional have encouraged us. If you want to be great in life, you have to serve the many. Serve the many will lead you to greatness. Mike, I want to wrap up tonight with all our sharing tonight. It's wonderful that I learn from you, you learn from me, and we all learn from our audience. And I believe someone is watching, and one day he will go out and take the things that he learned tonight from his head and connect it to his heart and said, enough is enough. And all the things that I used to do, that I grow up in an environment, it's obsolete. I just need to build another version of myself. I just need to build, because I am worthy, I'm capable, and I can do whatever I want in life, because I am God's highest form of creation. I think I can wrap that one for me in my faith. If that's my faith, and if whatever I do in life is intentionally connected to my faith and my value, I knew I'm living a purposeful life and a very fulfilling life. Mike, that's all for me tonight. And thank you very much for everyone that watching, myself and Mike. Really, really appreciate you. And go out there and make a positive impact in someone else's life, because you never know.
Beautiful, Joey. And just for the record, that Joey's name, Joey, $1 Million Difference Maker, Makaunga, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. And it's all true. All true. Right? And that's my name for it. That's Joey's name. I want to see that on Joey's tag for everything from now on. Joey, the $1 Million Difference Maker, Makaunga. I love it because it's real. It's real. Everybody know that that's the real deal, right? I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Mike.
Start using that. Listen. Don't forget, guys. Like, subscribe, share, click that notification button. You'll learn when we're on. Usually around the same time every week. I'm going to play out with our favorite videos. Definitely mine. Everything you need to know is in here. But look, get ready. Make it clear. Take aim. Keep it simple. Take the first step. 2026 is going to be your year. Why not? Why not you? That's what Jim Rohn would say. Why not you? And we're here if you need us, and that's all our job is to be here if you need us. All right, listen, have an amazing day. Super grateful to be here, and look, we love you all. Seriously.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers, free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers. If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do, and you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.